Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is a kickoff for our conversations this fall about the Robotics Institute Summer Scholar Program. And I'm joined today. My name is Rachel, and I'm joined by Shreyas. We're going to share our experiences with the riss program and Carnegie Mellon's Robotics Institute. And we welcome you to come on this journey with us. So the Robotics Institute Summer Scholars is at the simplest level, a robotics research internship. So it's a way to come together with a really dynamic group of individuals and explore research, to conduct research. There's a couple things, however, that set the riss program apart. One of those is that throughout the Institute, there's really quite a number of faculty members. We're one of the largest robotics institutes in the world, the first PhD program in robotics, but there's so many pioneers that are here at the Institute and really defining and pushing the edges of robotics from very basic research to very applied sciences as well. So a lot of reasons to come here, different focal points. We're well known for everything from autonomous vehicles to computer vision, AI, and machine learning, of course. And the thing that brings together the scholars each year is that we're really sharing, coming from a broad group of backgrounds and trying to find ways to explore robotics together. And CMU's Robotics Institute is a special place to do that because of its connection to the founding. So riss is a program that is tied to those early programs where we're trying to do more than just a research internship. We're trying to come together and we do so as a learning community. So rather than coming and spending only maybe 10 weeks or 11 weeks in the summer in Pittsburgh, there's several elements that define the program. And foremost, of course, is that guided research. So that's that immersion in the individual labs. And there are about 60 different faculty members within the Robotics Institute. And later on, Shreyas and I will talk about, how to find out who mentors. And when I use the word mentor, I'm talking about a faculty director of a lab that's really engaged in the process of helping new scholars or emerging scholars learn research practices, conduct research, and then present the results. And to support you in this process, we do a lot of professional development to look at different areas of robotics. So we'd like to expose you to, you may come in really looking at one area, but we want to give you the opportunity to explore many different areas of robotics, of AI, of engineering, of machine learning, and Carnegie Mellon is a great place to do that. We also think about how can we produce scholarly artifacts. So within the program, there's a poster and a paper and a video, but these, rather than being requirements that are for just the program, they're really scaffolded so that they can help you with your next steps as you pursue graduate school, as you pursue your next research internship. And final underpinning everything is the mentorship and this really nurturing environment with other scholars as well. So the Summer Scholars Program has such high success of scholars coming in and then going on to graduate school. So we form what we call a bridge or a connector to grad school. So coming in, building the research skills and the knowledge that you'll need to skill sets to succeed in grad school, but then also helping you to apply, helping you to present your profile in a way that it's going to be very successful. riss at its core since its beginning has been really inclusive. So we've had students from over 60 different countries to come and participate in the Robotics Institute Summer Scholar Program. Rather than an RU or a research internship, it is a learning community. We're coming together to try to learn and grow together. I'm going to invite my colleague Shreyas to share a little bit about his experience within the Summer Scholar program so that we can hear what it's like to be a scholar and what doing research within the institute is, what it's really like. Shreyas?
Yeah, I think this actually has changed possibly my research trajectory in like a very large sense. Uh, in terms of, I think essentially this stands out in two aspects. One is the fact that it provides a very inclusive community, right? And you have 50 scholars who are from all over the world, who are working on different projects, different topics, in different labs. And uh, the key thing about RIS is that Rachel and John enable you to interact with them multiple times throughout the week. So you really bond as a cohort. And this interaction and relationship that you build with your fellow cohort mates actually enables you to get an overall perspective of robotics in general. Because over time, we tend to have conversations which are pertaining to the research we do, and in that process we get a very broad perspective, and I think that's really unique. And second is that the outcome, right? So we are it often helps to like put down in writing or put as an outcome, say a poster or a paper of what work you're doing, and that being there at the end as a deliverable actually pushes you to work in a very holistic fashion. And it's really nice at the end of the day when you're concluding your 10 weeks to have something that you can show both back at your home institution and to other researchers and cohort mates and other people as a product of your research. And that's really cool. I think that gives you a sense of direction, and that's really valuable.
I really like what you said, Shrey. Sorry.
So I really liked what you said about the opportunity to, produce those results. And it seems like a lot to do a paper and a poster in the video, but there's so many different supports, and also the cohort together. You're sharing templates and you're learning about the process. And um, one of the founders of the riss program, Reed Simmons, shared with me, he said, unless you document what you've done, it's almost like it didn't happen, right? So the paper, the other things, and we work together to produce shareable research outcomes that, Shreyas, as you're saying, like you can then present that at a conference at your home university. You can, share that with colleagues, and in some cases also there's that trajectory because of those supports, because of the engagement of the lab, of Carnegie Mellon and others, that sometimes it goes a little bit farther than even the institute or home institution. Would you share a little bit about your research that you did this summer?
Yeah, sure. So I actually worked on real world offline reinforcement learning from vision language model feedback. So basically, we wanted to leverage the advances in foundation models, large language models like ChatGPT, to essentially teach a robot how to do a particular skill, right? And it's a really hard problem, right? Even like in the naive settings, that's really hard for a robot to perform particular tasks. And one way we do that is using reinforcement learning, where we give a robot function which kind of tells the robot what it's supposed to do, and then it tries to learn how to do it. But the thing is, giving this reward function is really hard, and we came up with like a really unique way, building upon a previous work in my lab, RLVLMF, to kind of specify this and learn from like very limited data. And the results we got were really cool, and I ended up submitting it to a conference in September, and I got accepted in a workshop as well. So, yeah.
Congratulations. So I was really excited to hear about the success of the program, your research. And Suresh, you said something that I believe is really important, that students that are interested in pursuing research, that can help them to focus on how to apply or pursue research opportunities. they should also look at their home university. There are many research immersions. We do believe that RIS is unique and offers some incredible advantages. When you talked about your research, you talked about building from prior results, right? So coming in, and I think that ties back to what you had discussed earlier about being part of the cohort community, but also the larger research community at Carnegie Mellon. So if someone was asking you, do I need to come in with an entirely new research project or plan? Um, how would you explain to them um, how to discover maybe some of the research that scholars have done before and what your experience was in matching to some research?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think initially when we apply, it's really daunting because we can see through the years that risk scholars have produced really great work, and it's all very well documented. We can see their videos, their papers, and initially it's a little bit intimidating. But when you go through their profiles and the work they've done, which is there on the website, you get a clear idea on how on what they've done, to what extent they've built, and I mean, having a little bit of prior background, through some research exposure in your university helps. But nonetheless, I think because everything in risk is so well documented, and you have a lot of testimonials where scholars talk about their journey, it takes the edge off. It makes it kind of okay, and then you get your confidence back. And reading through those, especially going through the working journal, gives you an idea of what all is done. In some sense, in the Robotics Institute, things change within a year, but not that drastically. You're still kind of working on the same high level problem, and that actually gives you an initiative to understand what's going on, pick out what you like, and convey that in maybe your SOP, which you submit for this, right? Saying, I really like this work, and these are things I want to build on.
I think that's really good advice of, you know, the work that's on the website. At times it seems overwhelming, but every year we go through this process of looking at the research outcomes and thinking, like we were talking a few minutes ago, and you're like, wow, it's accepted to a conference. All of these things are happening. And the goal going in was to do really good research. And not only did you do really good research, but then the community says, let's walk it further. Let's share out this work. So like 80% of scholars continue on with their research. And I think that that is something that's essential. So we start early with the program, getting to know each other. There's so many like logistical things that we have to walk through together. But then once we're together, there's the conversations, the engagements with the lab. There's a lot of different exposures. And then at the end of the program, we're celebrating, we're inviting to continue on. And then you come back, you rush back to your home university. Sometimes classes have already started and you're catching up and everything. But there's that time, which I think is really important to kind of get a little bit of space and then dive back in. And the majority of those scholars will continue in some way with the labs. And some of them, it could just be like, hey, we're going to share this. We're going to document maybe the research a little bit more, or we're going to, present a student poster. But there are many different outcomes, and some of them I've heard of multiple conference acceptances already, and that's so exciting. Where it doesn't have to be the outcome, and we have students that are, just completing their freshman year to those that it's about a year and a half before they're going to graduate. So that I think that adds to the dynamism of the community, coming from those different backgrounds and such. Shreyas, are there any, would you like to share with us maybe your poster? Are there any slides that talk about your research that you'd like to share with us? Or would you like to talk about your best advice for a applicant that might be out there saying, because we're all there saying like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this, right? And each year, amazing things are accomplished. So what would you like to share?
I think I'll start off with showing the results because it's really motivating. Like coming in, I didn't really think I'd achieve that. So that's really cool to see. And then maybe yeah, I'd surely like to talk about uh, about the application. Let me share my screen. Yep. Okay. Without going into too much of the technical detail, so we are essentially trying to learn or to teach a robot how to do something from like a textual description, right? And uh, there's like a bunch of ML that we do, which results in that. But the really cool output of that uh, is here, right? So we've told all we've given in is like a bunch of transitions, like the robot playing around in its environment and a textual description. And we can essentially teach the robot how to perform that task, right? We see it opening a drawer just from like 2 words, right? And say pushing a soccer ball into the net, right? So really, really cool outputs, right? And yeah, and here we told the robot to dress an arm, and this was really hard because it's really hard for a robot to understand where the cloth is at. And we essentially got a robot to do that just by telling it, play around some, here are some samples on how to do it, and we basically want you to just dress an arm over. And we see like this is the result from my work, and we see it dressing it completely, which is like really cool, right? And all of this takes in like significant amounts of work, but I think the really cool aspect was that I never thought coming in that I'll be able to achieve that, but it is just that the entire community is so supportive, right? Especially my lab mates, my PhD UFA, they were all really, really supportive. So I completed roughly about half of it when I was here. And after coming back, I still kept in touch. They were really open to me collaborating. They shifted around meeting times to match my time zone, right? And we got it done. We got it working on a real robot, right? So I think that's like a really cool outcome. That's why I think this it's just that at least from the cohort mates I had spoken to, every lab is really, really open to collaborating with us even after we return back. It's like really amazing. I have a friend who's like doing his bachelor's thesis with Katya after this, which is like really, really amazing, right? So yeah.
I think that one of the things that sets riss apart and maybe helps to contribute to this idea of continuing collaboration is that walking through together, we really are that bridge to graduate programs, top graduate programs, not just Carnegie Mellon, but other places as well. And so it's special to come together. And when we see each other at the beginning with orientation, we're really excited. Really excited because it feels like it's already been a long journey together, right? And then we're coming together and we have this short period of time in the summer. But one of the things that's, really that I so appreciate is that about a third of the cohort is going to come back as a graduate student to Carnegie Mellon University, which means a third of us, at least, are going to be together for, a small break while people finish up their undergraduates, but it could be 2 years for a master's, it could be 5 years for a PhD. So it's really cementing a lot of those partnerships and relationships. And I think because of that, we have a much better, we just have a more cohesive and committed group of partners across the department and quite a number of riss alums. So we hope that you return back as a new riss alum in David Held's lab, right? We hope that that is, part of your future plan. You mentioned Katya Sakara, and Dr. Sakara has multiple riss alums within the lab. They're there as PhD students or master's students. Same with some of the other labs as well. If I was a potential applicant and I was looking at like all the posters and papers, one of the things that I suggest, and I wonder if it'll resonate with you and if you would share some additional advice, I recommend that potential applicants go to the website, right? And, see the videos, see the posters, kind of click through, but also look at who are the faculties and robotics leaders that on a regular basis are mentoring, because there's some labs that it is consistent year after year that they're engaging with multiple scholars and really building that, and for many of those labs mentorship is part of their culture there, and such. So that is also one of the best testaments to the kind of culture within a lab. What would you suggest to kind of identify potential mentors? Because we know if a mentor's not a lab isn't showing up on the risk posters and such, maybe they'll mentor in the future, but probably those that are listed the most are the ones that are really seeking out and building those bridges for scholars. What would you add to that?
I actually have my own personal experience to add to that. So it's really good to go through the risk website because it tells you who are while you might miss out on newer faculty, it tells you who have been continuously involved with risk, which is like a great thing. But another thing to do, something that I did was to reach out to graduate students in the lab. They might not respond, they might be busy, but it always helps because sometimes the labs are just involved in other things, right? And it always helps, like just drop a mail, be very kind, like, hey there, I'm really interested in the work you're doing. I saw your previous risk projects, and are you by chance, be involved in risk this year? And usually they reply. And the second thing would be to fill out. So in the risk application, if I remember right, we have a preference list of 5 profs we potentially want to work with, and I'd say fill out all 5. Like fill out 5 profs you're interested in, because you never know who has that
Yes,
vacancy. You
yes.
never know. You're not competing against like every other
No.
student. You're competing against the kid who's working or interested in your domain, and you never really know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's from my experience. So like apply, like list 5 and apply, like
Yeah,
list them
and
down.
I think that's such good advice, to, build that network out, to reach out and to include. And I would say that also, as you're applying to grad school as well, that's really good advice, is that when you're applying somewhere, make sure that there are multiple faculty members or labs that you really want to work with. Because if maybe one lab, you mentioned Dr. David Held and Dr. Zachary Erickson. If David or Zachary were not maybe participating and you'd only put those labs, right? Then you might be closing down an opportunity. Other labs will definitely look at the applications, but yeah, take that chance and put, 5 different labs that you'd be interested in, connecting with. And the labs are really, when they're reviewing and trying to find potential match, they want to see someone who is interested in the work. And sometimes it can be overwhelming to figure out what people are working on. Google Scholar is a great tool. And the website, Shreyas, like you mentioned, is a great way, if the labs have been participating, that you can see a snapshot of projects, right? That are there. So we only have a few more minutes left. I wonder if you might share with your thoughts on getting started in research at your home university, right? Because sometimes at my home university, it might not be the case that there are as many obvious research opportunities for me right there. But I think there's many ways through competitions or course projects. How might I get started?
I think the really cool thing about research, especially in robotics and AI/ML today, is that a lot of the resources are available online. So it's very important to have a faculty you're associated with. So in case you have people doing good research in your university, uh, if you persevere enough, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to work with one of them, at least one of them. But in case that is not an issue, that is an issue, and you don't have established lab conditions, I think there are really wonderful workshops and competitions you can try to take part in. One of the things we did, or I did, which I think was like the defining part of my resume for this, was a bunch of friends. We reached out to a prof in the computer science department here. He doesn't do as much R research, but it was a really cool competition organized by CMU in Europe, right? And we just thought we'll go participate, right? And that ended up in us winning gold, and that turned out to be a really prestigious thing. But all that matters is initiative. There is no dearth of resources, and you could always just reach out, like be shameless, like mail people. Everybody's really kind if you ask them in an appropriate fashion. So just take initiative and reach out. I think you'll be able to do amazing work in your home institutions.
That's really encouraging. I've heard from a number of students now that like there are some opportunities that maybe they missed because they didn't try or they were afraid. And when we anchor ourselves and when we go ahead, that is a risk. It's being a little bit vulnerable to reach out to that faculty member at your home university. But the potential, okay, so you might get a no, but the yes, right? And the work and the opportunity together, it can open so many doors. And I really hope that students hear that it's moving forward, even when we're fearful or we're just not sure what to do next. Taking those steps and working with others to create those bridges and those opportunities are phenomenal. And connecting with the community, that community is really phenomenal. There's a strong CMU community in many countries. So reaching out to different alumni of organizations, attending conferences, seeing what you can do. And there's always a spark or an opportunity at your home university. So when we talk about risk, it's an example of a tremendous research community and a research immersion, and learning together. And we want you to try multiple opportunities throughout the world, starting at your home university and building those steps toward your future. And stacking those experiences and will lead you to many new areas that you might not even know are possible, And so, Shreyas, it has been a joy to share this time with you. And I thank you for sharing your research and your experience. And very soon, all of the 2024 research will be online for people to view the posters and everything. The videos are there. So please take Shreyas's advice. Go watch some of the videos. They're really nice, short introductions to the research that's possible and that's being done in the labs by undergraduates from all over the world. So again, thank you for joining us today, and we will see you again soon. Thank you.